flow state, that blissful place that we can go to, but we don't realize we're in it until we've come out of it. Now, if you don't know what flow state is, it's basically the frame of mind that you get into where you're so hyper-focused on what you're doing that time just doesn't exist and everything else outside of you doesn't exist. You're just in this state and it's just what you're doing and that is it. So, for example, if you've ever driven or walked home from somewhere and after about 10 minutes you think, I don't know how I got here. I've been driving or walking and I've taken all these turns, but I've been totally unaware of what I'm doing. That is flow state. So basically, flow state comes from doing something that we're quite used to doing. So our brains almost switch off and go onto autopilot, but it means you're really unaware of everything else around you. It's just that autopilot keeping you rolling. Now, a great example of this is in one of my favourite films, which is a Disney Pixar film called Soul. And in that, there is a pianist and he gets into this flow state quite a lot and it visually shows this state of mind. So if you've not seen it, highly recommend watching it because it basically just shows what it's like to be a creative person. But it also relates to anything. So if you have any sort of gift or interest or hobby and you get really into that zone with it, this film really visualizes it. So how do we get into this flow state in art? Now, if you're quite competent in art and you do it fairly regularly, it can be quite easy to get into this flow state. But if you're quite new to it or don't do it that often, it can be a lot more difficult because you're trying to create a piece of art that looks good. So as you're trying to do that and you're not as used to creating art as someone else who would do it every day, for example, you might get a bit frustrated and think, this isn't working, why is this not happening? And then because you're frustrated, you're not getting into that flow state of mind. So the best way to combat this is just to create something that isn't going to be a masterpiece. It doesn't have to look good, it's just playing. And one of the ways I used to do this before I really got into art and just wanted to have a bit of fun or sometimes just pass the time was to get a blank piece of paper like this and scribble all over it. Now, doing this sort of thing, you don't want a fancy sketchbook that you're kind of a bit like, I want to use it, but I only want to do nice pieces in it. Just get any scrap piece of paper because then you're not being precious over it. You're happy to scribble and just make a mess and just not really think, I need to preserve this in some way like you would a nice canvas. So this isn't a tutorial, this is more just like playing with different ideas. So if this gives you any other ideas, go with that and let me know in the comments if you have any ideas based around this. But all I do with this blank piece of paper is grab a pen, a Sharpie, a pencil, whatever you've got to hand. I've just got a purple Sharpie here. And I'm just going to scribble all over this paper, like this. No particular way, I'm not even going to look like this. Ideally get a pen that's probably not going to run out on you. Just go crazy. As much as you want. You can lift your pen off the paper if you want to. I just kept my pen down the whole time. Now, that's looking like a bit of spaghetti. But now, I have a nice squiggle that I can look at and I'm going to try and make a picture or multiple pictures or just images out of this. So my plan was to go outside after doing this scribble and do a bit of sketching. But it's currently absolutely hammering it down, so we'll see how today goes. So to begin with, you might look at your scribble and be like, I don't know where to start, this doesn't feel very relaxing or anything like that, but just maybe think of something that you like. It could be nature or wildlife, it could be a car, you could be searching for your next house, so you're kind of into houses a lot, and just kind of look for those sorts of shapes within the scribble. So I can kind of see a bit of a beak here and a bird head, so you don't have to have the scribble the same way up the whole time. You can turn it around, you can move it about, you know, there is no rules to this. So got this kind of beak shape, so I'm literally just going to do an eye, and again, this isn't meant to be a masterpiece, this is just a fun experiment and more kind of getting your brain to kind of learn how to see shapes and things, but also just to switch off within that mode. So I'm just gonna randomly do an eye there of a bird, putting that highlight in just because I like my highlights in my eyes. And then I could do like a little beak nostril. And if you want, you could kind of just go back over some of those shapes, make them a bit darker on the outside. But yeah, totally up to you what you want to do with this. So I might just define the beak a bit there. Looks a bit like a duck now, actually. You might not necessarily get into a flow state with this straight away. It might take a few attempts just to kind of get your mind a bit used to what you're doing. But it's just a nice, simple exercise and thing to do, really. So I'm a little bit stuck already. Let me think. I can kind of see like a dummy shape there, but there's no like bit of the dummy. I don't want to add on too much extra around the scribbles. I want to like work with the scribbles rather than add to them. And like you can kind of go a bit Picasso-y with things as well. I mean, you don't have to necessarily make something that looks hyper real. This bit here reminds me, like if it's a bit upside down, but it reminds me of the thumbs in Spy Kids. This was a good idea until I sat down and did this, and now I'm not feeling so relaxed and flow statey. Well, no, actually, I am kind of, other than talking to the camera and trying to explain what I'm doing, it is feeling quite flow statey, actually. It's quite nice, and because I'm concentrating on what I'm doing and thinking about what shapes are there, so my mind is just hyper-focused on this at the moment. So I kind of want to draw a face here, like a Picasso-y face. So you've got like a couple of eyes there, and then like a cool sort of updo here. And then, yeah, like a mouth here. So I'm gonna do his mouth and his lips like that. And then this could be his ear, because it kind of looks like an ear. You can have a little earring. And then you need a nose. So I could do like a dot, or I could just do I might just do it like a, that looks so weird. Okay. That doesn't look like I thought it was going to. Oh, maybe I can see now, like he's got a hunchback. Like, let's hunch his back, and then I don't know where to go from here. Maybe, so that could go like that. And then, yeah, hunch back. Let me just draw his face in a little bit more. I'm gonna do this. I could have like a scarf around his neck or something, I don't know. Like a checked scarf. Okay, that looks weird, but never mind. Like I said, this isn't meant to be a masterpiece or anything. This is just like playing and having fun. I could just, I don't know, give him like some feet. Some tiny feet at the bottom. Well, that'll do for him. Okay, what else have I got? I mean, a good thing to do with this actually is if you're with like friends, relatives, or even kids. I mean, this is great to do with them. You Scribble and get the kids to do this, or vice versa, and then that's a nice like joint activity, or you can like have a sheet each and then keep swapping, which I used to do with my mum all the time actually, and it's quite fun to do. I want to do something with this round here. It's like a nice sort of swirly shape, maybe a plane. Like this could be like an extremely big cockpit, and then we could have like a propeller at the front here, like that. I'd love to know what shapes you're seeing in this. You have to let me know in the comments. And then this could be like one of the wings. It's in a weird position, but you know, that's what this is. And then we could have like, I don't know, Snoopy in here or something. Hunchback Snoopy. There we go. People come up to me and they're like, oh, you're so talented at art. And they're like, can you just draw us a picture, please? No. No, I cannot, because this is the reason. If I just draw you a picture, this sort of thing will appear. I need to sit down for days and then you might get something decent. Okay, what else have we got? So I need to do something with up here. But actually, even as I'm doing this, and even though I'm still like talking to a camera rather than just being in this piece, I'm still fine. I'm getting into quite a flow state here because again, I'm just focusing on it. I'm thinking, what do I do? What do I add? Like this bit here could be like a deflating balloon potentially. So I could like bring it down here like that. See, like, I'm getting more into it now as well, which is also what happens. You start and you think, what on earth? And then once you do one or two, you start really getting into it. I can see like a bow tie here. A weird wonky bow tie. I don't know what that could be. Oh, it could be a snail, actually. So, or something like that. And I'll just have a swirl in. I'd like to do one more thing up here, but I don't know. I can see another deflated balloon. Or maybe a clog. Is it like a wooden clog if I look at it sort of upside down? I don't know. Like something like that. I don't know. And I'll just like put some details on the heel or whatever. That'll do. And now the sun has come out, as it does in Britain, where it is 1 second hammering it down, and literally 5 minutes later, there is perfect blue sky, sunshine, and it's like the rain was never here. So I'm now going to head out and take you with me for another way to get into flow state with art. So I'm just trying to decide what to take out with me, doing a little bit of a sketch. I don't do this too often. I wish I did it more, but it's hard to find the time sometimes. I mean, a lot of people come up to me and say, oh, I wish I had more time to do art. So do I. It's amazing, even though I am a full-time artist, the amount of art I actually do is very minimal. So yeah, doing something like this is going to be quite nice, I think. So I'm not going to take too many materials with me. I'm literally just going to take this sketchbook, which I bought about a year ago, and I love it. It's one of those sketchbooks where it looks so pretty, I don't want to use it. So I'm going to break that now and give it a whirl. I am going to take with me a pencil case of a pencil to do any like light sketching, and also a bunch of the dough and line makers because I like these. They're just a nice pen to sketch with. So I have those, but I also have here a nice little paint palette which has been used a little bit messy now. And I love this. I have a few different types of this. I have some smaller versions as well. And they're just great because all the paints come out like this. And then you can just replace them when they run out, which is amazing. And to go with that, I need some brushes and some water. I just use these Derwent water brushes. Now, I know I'm taking a lot of Derwent stuff here. I'm not sponsored by Derwent for this. It's just that I just happen to have a lot of Derwent materials because I've tried and tested quite a few, and once you tried and tested them, you're not really using them a massive amount. Like, you use them to sort of their full potential, but then you still get a lot of left over. So my studio is basically like a Derwent shop at this point, and I may as well just use it, you know, why not? So these brushes are quite cool because you literally fill this bit up here with water, and then there's a push button in this section here which then squeezes that water out, and then it comes down onto your brush, and then you can wet the paint and paint away. And there's a lot of different thicknesses of brush. I've got some like thinner ones, and it also has some slightly less fancy ones where it's just you fill up this bit and you just squeeze that section. But that's what I got. And now I'm gonna pack up my rucksack with all of this. I say with all of this, there isn't actually that much, which is fine because I prefer to travel lightly. And if the rain stays away, hopefully, I am now going to head out in the van to the forest. There is one particular spot I want to go to, which I've always wanted to sketch, so I'm going to head there first. And it's only about a 5-minute drive from where I am now. So I've just got here and I was planning to walk a little bit further before stopping and sketching, but I got to the car park and basically there's these really nice fungi on the floor around this tree stump. So I'm going to stop and just sketch them because I like some of those wavy shapes that they have. So I'm going to get my sketchbook out now and get to work. And now usually this place is quite quiet, but there's a lot of traffic today and there's even a lorry going past, which is weird because it's literally in the middle of nowhere. It's also quite damp still from that massive downpour earlier. Right, so with these fungi, they look nice, but I want to get like the right angle, so I'm going to have to probably squat. So I'm not going to want to be down here for too long. So it's not going to be a very flow statey place, but still it's there. I might as well, hello bud, I might as well sketch it and get some inspiration while I'm here. There's also a lot of flies around here. I think because the ground's quite damp, it's just kind of gone, like all the flies have just gone woof into the air. So I'm only gonna basically sketch the shape of the fungi. I think one thing about a flow state is just not thinking too much about stuff in the first place. So I'm not going to try and do anything in particular here. I'm just gonna make the shapes of fungi, maybe put a bit of shading in. But I quite like just seeing the shapes. It looks quite abstract-y. I'm not necessarily doing this to like go home and create a bigger piece from it. I just want to sketch freely without thinking, oh, this is going to have to be something eventually. And now I'm going to carry on my walk. I've stopped again. I literally have walked probably about 50 meters, but I saw this tree trunk here and I just love that. I think it's ivy growing up here. There's no leaves on it, so I don't know. I do like sketching outside. It's so rare I do it, but again, it's a nice flow state thing to do, especially if you're in nature, because you're kind of just surrounded by like peace and tranquility. I know it sounds really cliche, but you are, and especially in a forest like this, there's not really many people around, so you can kind of just chill and just stand and draw what's in front of you, and it's just the nicest thing. So I'm going to get into a position I'm happy with. Also kind of forgot how hard it is to draw without anything to lean on, but never mind. So I might take a little bit more time over this one. Allow myself just to kind of get a bit more into the zone with it. I'm just going to start off by drawing the ivy on the trunk. Now, again, I'm not trying to make this look perfect. It'll look different to what I can see in front of me. It's not going to be exactly the same, but it doesn't matter. I've never actually seen ivy on a tree this thick, I believe. And then the trunk is kind of over here, approximately. And then I've got like vegetation around the base, and then this goes down into the floor. I don't know if you can hear that buzzard. So I'm just going to do like crisscrossing for the base. Now, even though, again, I'm doing this and I'm chatting away to you, I can feel myself just sort of losing
my awareness of things, which is really nice. Awareness of time, awareness of kind of where I am almost. I'm literally just stood in front of a tree and that is my world right now. And it's so peaceful. So now I'm deciding whether to put in like the bark detail. I think I might do. I don't know how it's gonna look. I'm just gonna make marks. There's a bit of a knot there. You might also hear the dogs whining a little bit at me because they want to go. They're like, let's just go for a walk. Come on. Do you know what? I actually feel so relaxed right now. It's really nice. Especially when you've got no time limit on this sort of thing. I think that's another key thing really. Just make sure you start something like this and you don't have a deadline you got to finish by, because then you'll constantly be thinking about when that's going to be. You'll be clock watching, and that's a disaster if you want to get all flow statey. Now it's starting to look a little bit 3D, which I like very much. Do I leave the ivy like that, or do I put a bit more on it? I don't know. Sometimes you think, this is what I'm thinking too much, and I'm thinking, am I going to ruin this? And then it takes me out of that flow state, which is okay, because you're not going to permanently be in it. You'll come in and out of it. And that's what I have to do at exhibitions, is when I'm demoing at an exhibition, I've often got people behind me looking at what I'm doing, and they all say to me, I don't know how you can concentrate when we were over your shoulder looking at what you're up to. And I'm like, well, because I can tap into that state of mind. And it's just so peaceful. One thing I do like about pens as well is that you can use them like pencils. It's just the difference is you can't rub them out. So I can put light pressure on and more pressure. That doesn't look too bad. Kind of surprised myself there. I mean, it's not the best, but that's not the point. So we're starting to get properly deep into the forest now, and I just love these two trees. This is what I came to sketch just in black and white, and I wanted to sketch these trees for absolutely ages, because every time I walk through here it's like a gateway to another world, and maybe like Bridge to Terabithia style, but hopefully not with the traumatic ending. But I think they're just so pretty and like knobbly and ancient looking, and they're just awesome looking trees. Gonna get my sketchbook. I don't really know how to tackle these because they're quite big. I think when you're doing sketches it's good to focus on something smaller, and this is like a large area, so I might do like a double page thing in here potentially. I also think I'm doing quite well today, like being out and sketching wise, because I got home at 3:30 in the morning last night from a Coldplay concert. Now, if you've watched any of my previous videos, you might have seen that I drew a piece for a competition to get Coldplay tickets, because I wasn't able to get any when the general sale went out, because most of the tickets went to third-party sellers, I think. So anyway, I managed to get some fan resale ones like 3 days before the event. So yes, I was really happy. And not only that, they were first entry tickets. So I got to the very front of the barrier, and as I was getting to the front, I thought, why not make a sign? Because every single gig, Chris Martin, the singer in the band, he pulls someone up on stage who has made a sign. So he like looks around all the signs and chooses one. So anyway, I had my sign up and I had my art on it that I showed in this video, which I will be linking above. And I also wrote on it like a limerick thing, like a rhyming limerick, because as part of the gig as well, he'll go around the crowd and like the cameras point out people and put them on the big screen, and he'll like do a song about them. So I did one in the same way he says these songs, and I wrote that next to the art and saying about how thanks for inspiring my art and let's kind of keep the world strong and please can I join him on stage and all of this. Anyway, he didn't choose me to be on stage, but the guitarist of the band came right up to the edge of the stage and was reading my sign. He was like playing guitar and just like reading it. And then one of the permanent crew who had like headset on and everything, he was reading my sign and pointing at it and smiling. And I was like, what's going on? Because he's already had someone on stage, so that moment's gone. But he disappeared off, and then about a minute or two later, he comes back and just like grabs my hand and puts it flat, and then just like puts it on the top and does this. And it was quite dark at the time. I didn't feel anything in my hand, and I was like, what is he doing? Is he just messing with me? And then he took his hand away, and he'd given me the guitarist's guitar pick. It was amazing. I was like, whoa. So that whole artwork and sign was totally worth doing. So I don't know where to begin. I think I'll just work left to right. It's amazing. I've walked past these trees so many times. And firstly, never heard that noise. And secondly, I'm drawing stuff now which I've never observed with them. There we go, a little bit of peace and quiet. Oh, no, it started again. Now, one thing I do when I'm drawing, especially when I'm getting into that flow state, is I start to sing. And I keep feeling myself go to that now, which I will not dash your ears with. Do not worry. Okay, so I have the basic shape of the tree on the left, and now I'm going to start to add in the leaves, but I'm going to do that in like squiggly motions, I think, because again, I don't want this to be like too detailed. I just want it to show kind of what it is, and the best way to do that is more to show shadows than anything else. I know it doesn't look it right now, but there was just a tremendous downpour and I did get quite wet, and so did the dogs. So I'm going to try and draw the second tree a bit quicker than the first. This has probably taken me about 20 minutes, maybe slightly longer, but I've had people coming past as well with like dogs, and there's been horses coming by, and every time there's a bit of breeze, I get really wet from the leaves. Yeah, and my drawing is getting quite wet. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly draw this second one. Now the lighting will be different on it because the sun's out now and it keeps changing, which is again something you have to kind of account for when you're outside sketching. This isn't meant to be a sketching video, it's meant to be a flow state video. And I am getting into a flow state, but obviously it's hard to show that on camera because you'd just see me stood there drawing, not saying anything, just zoned out. So gotta take my word for it. My pen's starting to struggle a bit because the paper is so damp now. Pen's like not working. Okay, so quite a lot of time has passed. My pen was not coping very well on the damp paper, and there's been a lot of heavy rain showers that were not forecast for today. So I wanted and had planned to carry on and do some painting, but I don't think that's going to be very possible with this weather. So I might have to call it a day there. But I have literally just been stood here for probably like half an hour drawing this tree, mostly trying to get this pen to work. But it doesn't feel like it's been half an hour. It's been really quite nice actually. So here are the two trees. I haven't done the leaves as such. I've just done the trunks really, but here they are. So flow state achieved today, and I think I've done quite well considering how tired I feel after yesterday as well, but maybe that has helped. So I hope this video helps you get into a bit of a flow state with art. Just remember, you don't have to go straight into a big masterpiece. It can be in stages, from a scribble to a sketch to then building up to a final finished piece that you're happy with, because getting into a flow state isn't about creating something amazing. It's just about having fun, letting your mind be free from the stress, the anxiety of anything. So good luck with it. Let me know how you get on, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Hello. Are you tummy moving? Why are you choosing the noisiest toy? You choose a quiet toy. No crinkly squeaky one. Bracken. What are you doing? Settle. Settle on the beanbag, not on me. Hello. Oh no, it's raining. I'm trying to trust you. I'm trying to trust you. What you got there, back in? Oh, and these guys keep bringing me lots of sticks to throw, because we're not allowed to stand still apparently.